Hello and welcome. Doug Windsor, a pilot with the Western Australian Air Wing, gave a talk to student pilots on the range of activities the Police Air Wing performs.
So I joined the police. All the fixed wing pilot positions there are all sworn positions. Once I started at the Air Wing, it's just been a progression through the various stages. I'll talk about it in the presentation, but we basically do the metro patrols and we start getting checked to line for all the country navigation stuff, just like you do in your basic training. Night VFR, did my instrument rating only late last year, and then I moved on to the PC-12, so I'm doing my line training on the PC-12 at the moment.
This includes aerial surveys of housing suburbs using a thermal imaging camera to find so-called grow houses. These are houses in which marijuana plants are grown. Not a week passes without news of another drug house bust.
Police have raided a Dianella home after the discovery of an elaborate grow house. Hundreds of plants have been seized. Almost every room turned into a cannabis nursery. The operation worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's one of the most sophisticated grow houses police have uncovered. When Operation Silverlight detectives raided the Dianella home early this morning, they found a house gutted to make way for hundreds of plants. The power bypassed, every single room converted. Heating, lighting, irrigation, even the feeding plans have been posted on the walls. Mature and young plants, even cloned seedlings growing fast. It's elaborate. The equipment alone would cost $40,000, but it's also profitable. This is the 42nd grow house discovered in Perth in the last 4 months. Police say all are connected to Vietnamese syndicates that channel millions of dollars to the eastern states and then overseas. Although most converted properties are north of the river, no Perth suburbs are immune. In this case, a staggering $1 million worth of Western Power electricity has been stolen. To give you an idea of the scale of this operation, what's inside this house is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police estimate that what could be turned over inside a property like this in a single year is well over $1 million. Detectives say they've only scratched the surface of this particular drug operation.
Grow houses consume prodigious amounts of electricity. The heat generated make these houses stand out from others. The criminals involved often bypass electrical meter boxes for free power. Otherwise, the high meter readings would alert power providers to what is happening in the house. That doesn't work for long though, as metering of whole streets points the finger to a problem area there. A grow house typically uses 41,000 kilowatt hours per month compared to 630 kilowatt hours for an average home. Criminals are stealing tens of thousands of dollars of electricity a year this way per house. The setups typically comprise powerful lights, air conditioners, fans and water pumps operating for up to 24 hours a day. Water pumps feed the plants and fans circulate the air, venting to where odours won't be detected. All of this makes the house irradiate infrared light visible from the air as heat signatures. Interestingly, in America, they need a warrant to overfly and spy on your house. The knowledge to set up grow rooms is freely available online. A Google search turned up this calculator for budding growers. Of course, those bypassing meters don't need such calculators. The money made by criminal syndicates is staggering.
Police search warrant, open the door! Police search warrant, close the door with me, police search warrant!
What you're seeing is police seizing cannabis plants from a grow house, a modest home in a residential street where hundreds of thousands of dollars of marijuana was being grown.
This type of houses are not your everyday mum and dad's growing a couple of plants. These are backed by organised criminal syndicates.
This police operation is only targeting grow houses in southwestern Sydney, but since 2011, it has raided over 570 properties and seized more than 70,000 plants.
I don't know whether we're actually making a dent into it or not, because we could be disrupting one here today and another 4 or 5 could be popping up.
The drug syndicates these police are targeting are doing big business, and police say it's not just about cannabis.
The cannabis grow houses, the profits that they make from there can fuel other illegal activities, and that could mean importing other drugs through the border, manufacturing other drugs including ice. That's the potential danger.
A house like this one can yield over $1 million a year in cash. A single grow earns $250,000, and multiple grows are cycled throughout the year. Any given house will contain seedlings, such as these, as well as rooms full of plants.
The head of the syndicate, the top level, in one operation, depending on how many grow houses they've got, they have a potential of tens of millions of dollars in profit in the hands of organised crime.
A typical grow house will have its windows blacked out to hide the high-intensity lighting inside. Ventilation systems transfers the heat and smell of the plants upwards and away from the neighbours, while a network of hoses are usually connected to the bathroom to water the plants. So how does a criminal syndicate keep one of these houses from being detected? Well, they don't. Houses are frequently detected when energy providers notice excessive power use on a street with no apparent user. The lighting in a hydroponic setup like this requires a lot of power, which syndicates manage to steal by rewiring a grow house to bypass the meter. And it's dangerous inside too.
When you've got crops and generators within roofs of particularly old weatherboard buildings out in the southwest, the potential of fire, the potential of being electrocuted, you've got water, irrigation systems running all over the floor, you're walking into a death trap.
The profits are so great that when a grow house is raided, the losses are simply absorbed.
Where you've got, say, potentially 20 grow houses running at once, if you lose 1 or 2 or 3, it's not a huge dent in the profit.
A typical grow organisation is structured in 3 tiers, so the higher-ups can evade detection. Syndicate heads can collect the most revenue from a cannabis grow operation without ever setting foot in a grow house. That's because below them are facilitators, responsible for sourcing properties and providing equipment. They're electricians, plumbers, real estate agents, or loan brokers with the right connections to establish a profitable grow house. They are also a layer of cover between a syndicate head and the crop sitters at the bottom of the tree. It's the crop sitter's job to live in and provide security for the house, as well as to maintain the crop and harvest it once it's grown. Most crop sitters are found to be unlawful non-citizens from poor parts of Vietnam, lured by the opportunity to make a lot of easy money. They usually have no ties to Australia, speak very little English, and are very easily replaced, which makes them attractive to syndicates.
The organised crime tentacles, they can reach back home for them where they have got families. The threat of violence to their families often make them very, very scared to speak to the police.
This is what back home looks like. Many crop sitters are from poorer provinces, such as Hai Phong and Nha An. For a young Vietnamese person, such as Hoang Vu Yui, it was too much money to say no to.
Just the same guy. He come to harvest. I just clean up the house, and then he pay me for to water up the tree, and that's it.
Yui was 25 years old when he was arrested at a grow house in Melbourne and deported. There are hundreds more crop sitters like him, some arriving on fraudulent visas, and police want a whole-of-government response to the issue.
It's huge. It's a massive drain on our resources, many working parts behind it that could be better used somewhere else as well.
I don't want to take the moral high ground here, but I must. Without customers, all of this would be pointless. Do you believe that the usage of marijuana, cannabis, should be legalised? Would amateur setups still be a thing if the production of marijuana was industrialised? Taking that approach would certainly free up police time. Users know that smoking marijuana alters their mental state, otherwise why do it? Would you want your bus driver, pilot, surgeon or teacher working whilst in an altered mental state? Hasn't alcohol impairment taught us anything? I welcome constructive comments both for and against. Please like, subscribe and hit the notify bell to encourage new content.